Knight Rider the game was developed and published for the PlayStation 2 back in 2002 and got a later release on the PC in early of 2003. And this game is heavily inspired by the highly successful and popular TV show from the 1980s that we all remember growing up, where you play as Kit, the Knight Industries 2000. It allows you to play a range of various missions throughout the game, including racing, exploring, chasing, among other elements. So you play as both Kit, the talking car, and you also play as Michael Knight from the TV show. And these missions, although they do vary, they're not really entirely based off of the TV show itself, but they are inspired by the events of a lot of the episodes within the TV show. So even with the various modes that are on offer, you can also utilize various abilities that Kit has on offer, where you can scan your environments for items of interest, and you can also use additional features where you can make the car jump and even go sideways on two wheels to get through very narrow and tight gaps in various environmental features and to avoid various hazards throughout play. Now the game itself is playable and does offer some very cool and unique features, but did get mixed reviews when it was released, and mainly due to the longevity of the game in terms of the overall levels and even the clunky style of the controls. As yes, even though you can control Kit, the controls themselves can feel very sluggish and clunky and can feel somewhat slightly unresponsive at times, but mainly due to the starting elements of the game, as in order to get through the campaign you first have to complete various tasks in a training mission before you can go out to do the real missions in the game. The problem with it being is that this is one of the parts of the game that can frustrate a lot of players, as you are getting familiar with a lot of the gameplay elements and features that Kit has to offer, but you have to complete various tasks and missions throughout this one level, and it will frustrate a lot of players as it does take quite a while to get familiar with exactly what it is that you have to do, but primarily that it takes quite a while to finish the level in general, that most players will generally just end up giving up and moving on to something else before they've even gotten into the actual missions in the game, so it can throw a lot of players off. Now, even though this game is heavily inspired by a well-known and extremely popular franchise, the game is also kind of more of a budget type of game, whereas it doesn't have a high-end budget in terms of its development processes and features, but still has enough unique and fun aspects that does correlate with the TV show. So they have managed to keep a lot of those similar aesthetics available in the game itself. So for fans of nostalgia and for fans of the TV show, you will find that apparent in the game. But for other gamers out there that want something to get their teeth into, this will be one of those games. It can be either hit and miss. Some people will like it, some people might not, and due to the steep learning curve to get involved with the game and to understand all of the gameplay quirks and features can throw a lot of players off at first if you're not used to it. So that in itself will leave the game in a way that it probably may not be suited to everybody that is looking to play it, but it really just depends on the player and their preferences. Like, if you're a fan of the Knight Rider TV show, there's no harm in having a look at this. It is decent for what it does offer, although there are better types of racing games and even mission based games that are available on the PlayStation, but it is worth looking into if you want to get a feel for the nostalgia of the TV show that goes through a range of missions and gameplay elements that kind of extends beyond that of the TV show. So that in itself is worthwhile having a look. There was also a sequel that was released later on in 2004, which was Knight Rider the Game 2, which was also developed by the same company, and again that also carries on a very similar aesthetic to what is offered in this game. I will be doing a review on that in the next while, so be sure to keep an eye out for that when it's released. And again, it goes through a lot more of the elements that would have been popular with the TV show. So there are some fun elements to this game, and if you are a fan of Knight Rider, it'll be definitely worth a look. There is enough unique elements that'll keep you entertained, but there are also some hiccups and gripes that might throw a lot of players off, but it really just boils down to your own play style and to know if you have the patience to sit down and play it for long enough to see what you think of it. But I would love to know what your thoughts are of Knight Rider the game for the PlayStation? If you played it back in the day, or did you even own it? And if so, what did you think of it? I'd love to hear what stories you have of this game, or even if you were a fan of the Knight Rider series itself from back in the day, like myself, because I grew up always watching that TV show myself. I was a big fan of it back in the 80s. So I would love to hear your stories of the game itself. So be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you would like to see more content around similar types of games that were also released for the PS2, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be updated when future videos are released. And if you are interested in seeing other types of videos on similar type of games that were also released on the PS2, then be sure to check out the playlist here on the screen to see more of those games in action. So head on over to check those videos out, and I will see you all in the next one.
Well done indeed. The robbers and the money are both secured.
Mission successful.